Welcome to Heavenly Class and Knits. I would like to show you how I like to close holes or hide holes between your fabric and cable. I just did the cable, and what I like to do is to create an additional stitch between fabric and the cable to camouflage it. And the way I do it, do you see this last column from the cable runs right here, and there's a stitch laying right here, the very last stitch before it's twisted. Grab that with your left needle like this, but don't knit, because see, if you knit it, look how huge the stitch are. It's not going to close anything if you just even purl it together. In this case, since I have a pearl fabric, it's not going to help it. What you need to do is to rotate it full circle clockwise. This is how I like to do it. With your right needle, go from behind and put it on the right needle, do it again and do it again. So do it twice. That way you got for sure a full rotation. See how it's closed now, that the stitch is closed that we just made? We didn't knit it yet, we just rotated it. So put it on the left needle and purl it together. In this case, because I have a pearl fabric. See, now out of sudden we don't have a huge gap. Remember, this might work and no additional work is needed as you start knitting. It will close the gap right away. However, I'll show you stage 2 if you still have gap in between your fabric and cable. However, it will become only apparent if you knit from this work a couple more rows. Only then check if you rather need stage 2 or not. And let me show you how it's done. This is the situation when you do need stage 2. See this gap between the fabric and the cable that requires additional work. And as I told you, some after stage 1 you don't need additional work, like this one, it's pretty tight. So let's concentrate on this cable, how I fix the gap between the cable and the fabric. This time you need a crochet hook, and I like to work from the knit side, regardless if it's a face fabric or inside out. Since it's pearl, I have to flip it over and find the very first column that is next to the gap right here, and go a little lower than where your gaps are, because ultimately you need to tighten up and get rid of this strand somehow and tighten it up. So how I like to do it, grab any stitch and go right between this column and start grabbing any strand and pull it through. Pretend this is the run down stitch that you're trying to catch. That's what you're essentially kind of doing. So continue to do in that fashion until you start getting close to your gap, and grab that strand. See the strands that are kind of loose? That's what you grab on. That's what you've really been working towards. Just grab them, go to the next one, grab them again, and the last one, see, you grabbed it. Now you've got this additional stitch. Turn your work around and place it on your left needle like that. And what you're gonna do is to knit them together, or in this case purl them together like this. And see, now you don't have gap and it looks very neat and clean.